Hello everybody, my name is Lindsay from Lulubelle's Bakes. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Gumpaste shoes, and I'm going to be making these little christening shoes, the little Mary Jane shoes. To make these shoes we're going to need a couple of tools, and I'm going to be using the Mary Jane template. It's the little baby Mary Jane shoes. I'm going to be using the Mary Jane template from the Cake Structures baby shoe set. In the box you will get a little sole cutter and a little shoe former. The other tools I'm going to be using today is a ribbon cutter, my craft knife, nylon rolling pin, a water brush, and my mold, my stitch wheel, and my button mold. Today I'm going to be using Blossom's Gumpaste, and I have pre-colored some already with the Pink Flamingo Kolor-burst, also by Sugar & Craft. And I have added a little bit of CMC to it. I'm just going to soften this a little bit. And I'm going to roll it out with my nylon rolling pin. You don't want to make it too thin. That's why I'm leaving little guide rollers on the side. Right, then you take your template, place your template onto the Gumpaste, and with your craft knife carefully cut around. And if you need to get a template from this, you can go onto the internet. There's plenty of them on the internet if you can't get the cake structure one. And I'm just very carefully cutting around the edge of this without moving it on the Gumpaste. Right, once you've done that, remove it, the excess. Make sure you roll that up and put it into an airtight container straight away, otherwise it's going to dry. Right, now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth these edges with my fingers. So before we put this onto the shoe former, I'm going to put some stitch marks onto this. And I've got a little stitch wheel. You can get these at any of the material shops or any of the baking stores. And you get different wheels that you can pop this and pop onto here. I'm just very carefully going to go around the edge just to make the stitch marks. Once you've done your stitch marks, you can put that onto your shoe former. And this is just a water pen. It has water in it. And I'm just going to stick the sugar paste onto the shoe with a little bit of water, which will secure it. Right, now while that's drying, I'm going to make the sole for the shoe. Again, you take the same color, or if you want a different color sole, you can use a different color. And I'm just going to roll this out. Again, you don't want it too thin because this is the sole that needs to be fairly thick. Take your sole cutter and push hard and remove the excess gum paste. And you can see there's quite a few little rough edges. All you do is you take your finger and you just smooth those. Right. Just going to put that to one side for now. Now I'm just quickly going to make a few little decorations for the shoe. You can see I've got a lovely little flower here and a little button on the side. For the flower, I'm going to be using Fondant Solutions a miniature flower mold, and for the button I'm going to be using this little flower on the Katie Sue button mat. All I'm going to do is take a little bit of the pink gum paste, roll it into the mold. You don't want to overfill the mold. So all I'm doing is I'm just rolling 3 little balls and placing them where the flowers are in the mold. Then I'm going to take a tiny bit of white. This is just plain white sugar paste. A little bit of CMC in it, and again tiny little bits. Just pop it in there, and this is where the leaves are in the mold. There we go. And you just pop that out, and there you have your flower. So at the back of the flower I'm just going to add a little bit of water. You can also use petal glue, which I prefer to use the water, to be quite honest. It does hold it very nicely. Just going to place that on there, and then I'm going to do the button. Just take a little bit of white, and I'm using this very cute little flower button that's on the mat. It's really sweet. Okay, you just want a little bit in there, you don't want to overfill it. Okay, pop it out, and there you have your flower button. And to this flower button, again, a little dab of water at the back, and then you can place it on the side of the shoe there. Now that the shoe has set a little bit, I'm going to add that onto the sole. Again, I'm using the water brush, and I'm just going to go around the sole on the top, and I'm going to put water around there. I'm going to carefully pick up the shoe, and I'm going to place it onto the sole. Just make sure it fits nicely. I've put the top of the shoe onto the sole, and I'm just carefully going around, just making sure that it sticks to the sole of the shoe, and indenting it slightly on the left hand side, because when you've got your shoes together you want a left and a right. You can see I've just indented it very carefully there with my fingers. Then you want to make another shoe for the right hand side. And here I've got my pear. I made this one earlier and it's nice and dry, and this one is still setting. But what you can do is you can take a little bit of cling foil, pop it into the shoe just to support that strap, and if you need to support the front of the shoe inside, you can add a little bit of cling foil in there too. You can let that dry overnight, and then you will have a perfectly formed shoe to go on top of your cake. The last thing I'm going to do to my shoes is I'm going to add a tiny bit of gold to the center of those flowers. And here I've got some gold paint with a little bit of quick dry essence in it. Very thin little brush, and very carefully you add just a tiny bit of gold just to the center of those flowers. And there we have the baby Jane shoe. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. and hit the notification bell to receive my upcoming tutorials. If you enjoyed my tutorial today, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you.
I'm not even hungry.
Yes, it wasn't my stomach.